Hello, evening draw curling audience. We've got a B qualifier here between Carruthers and Sluchinski. I'm Rory McCusker, your cameraman, director, producer, man behind the controls. With me here is Mark Neo.
Yeah, I am here for I think my fourth draw today. So
Nice, congratulations.
yeah, will be the second time seeing Reid today, but the first one I've seen of is it Sluchinski?
Yes.
Sluchinski.
It's been a long day of curling. Triple knockout. You don't know exactly when you're going to play next. Every game just seems so important. Teams have really been pushing these games 2.5 hours at least in some cases. So guys like you and me covering the thing, it's been tough to get any rest.
Yeah, not much time to grab something to eat and drink in between draws, but some good curling here. Some very interesting games and decisions to be talked about on the ice. So. Looks like we got a few rocks in play already for this opening end. It's a nice
I was just
change
going
of
to say,
pace.
team's getting right into her.
Yeah. But this far along into the, I guess into the tournament, that's maybe normal, I guess, yeah. Just ready to get into it.
Yeah, it's a lot of feeling out your opponents. I have known some skips that know exactly what they're going to do in the first end. They tell everybody on the team before they even walk on the ice, all right, boys, we're going for the blank here. Keep it clean. Or there's a strategy. Let's go after them this end. I think we know the ice a little better than they do. But not everyone's like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to just get out there, see how the first few shots go, see what the opponents are doing, and just try to mirror the intensity. I think that's what we got going on right here. Like you pointed out, this is not the first game or second game even for these teams. They're starting to learn the ice, starting to learn each other. They're saying, let's go for it. Let's push it here.
Even with all these rocks in play, blank's still very much on the table. So with this, we'll see what happens after this attempted run back.
Good point.
Ran a little bit. I think it ran a little bit straighter than they expected it to, but did end up getting rid of one of the stones back there.
This is part of the fun of this job, is trying to figure out why things are lagging, making sure all the other streams have their audio, have their video.
Yeah.
We'd love it for it to be perfect every time, but there's some prioritization that goes on.
Oh, sure. Only so much you can do, and only so many hats you can wear at once. But I think as I mentioned in the earlier broadcast, I started curling and just a few years ago, maybe 2 cycles ago, and there weren't many streaming options, so being able to watch every sheet and get some commentary on some of the games has been fantastic, you know.
Absolutely. And that's what we've been hearing across the board. People are just so appreciative to have a little window into one of these events. You know, this tour happens every year where teams go up and down, you know, do their best against the best in the world or their peers, and we don't really get to see it. All we see is the big events on major networks, maybe the odd Facebook live stream that a team will set up themselves.
Yeah.
It's not often we get to really peek into these, what used to be known as the cash spiel, but now is really the points hustle that goes on every year.
Yeah, and like I said, these are great opportunities to see some teams that, you know, we don't normally see in there's tier 1 events. You know, and see those up and coming teams, you know. And also getting a look and see at some of these international teams that we wouldn't see outside of, you know, world events.
Absolutely.
Looks like we've got some
Reid
good numbers
waving
so
his
far.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, it looks like we got some good numbers so far. You know, people watching us on a couple different platforms, so, you know, Facebook Live or on YouTube. Looks like we just hit 100 people watching. I see Megan there in the chat, as always.
Megan's had a long day as well.
Yeah.
Watch curling. As Mark mentioned earlier today, hit us up in the chat. Got thoughts on the game, predictions, checking in from all over Canada, US, Europe, the world. Let us know where you're watching from.
Yeah, I know we had a lot of representation from Canada earlier. I wonder if you have anybody watching from overseas, across the pond, if you will, or either one.
I'm sure we do.
Trying to sweep this to hold it up, to still hit it thick enough and still get this inside roll. Looks to be really close.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
That's well made. Good roll, partially buried.
So these are my favorite situations, I think, because there's enough going on here that both teams could justify their goals are being achieved. For one, you've got center guards and a rock in the top forefoot for Sluchinski. But on the other hand, Carruthers is shot right now and has the initiative with the rock in hand. So I'm like, both teams can kind of visualize a way that they're going to achieve their goals at this end. They both see potential here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's got a couple of choices here. You can either, you know, you can try to make a play on the yellow, or, I mean, I guess you could just ignore it and go to the corner and sink one around and, you know, force Sluchinski to make a play on it. But it looks like they're gonna make a play on the top ones.
Trademark gunner hunch.
Got the right
That
side
works.
of it.
Carruthers 2 in the house. No center guards.
Yeah.
Nice. We got Kelly from Thunder Bay checking in. Megan at home in Hamilton. Lance in Edmonton. Hello, guys.
Rory, where are you based out of?
Thanks for asking. I'm in my condo in Regina, Saskatchewan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Stretching my medium range internet to its limits.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I'm down here in Oklahoma City. Internet's okay. Hope to get fiber in my neighborhood pretty soon.
OKC is a place I've wanted to visit.
Oh, really? I don't hear that too often.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I watch a lot of food shows. You guys have a good barbecue reputation. Got some professional sports teams. I
Yeah.
think I could find some fun in OKC.
I will say the barbecue is not great compared to some other places like
Oh no. I'm
uh,
rescheduling my trip.
like yeah, if you want to go to barbecue, you can go to north of us. You got Kansas City, which has a new dedicated curling facility, which is and they're wonderful hosts up there. I'll be up there next month for a spiel. And down in Texas, of course, you got your choice down there. But if you do come to Oklahoma City, chicken fried steak is where it's at. That would be the signature dish. That's what I would go after.
I'm glad to get that recommendation. I would not have thought of that myself. You know what? I will say, from a curling perspective, I have really enjoyed my time with the American curling community. With Jerry, I was able to work the 2019 and 2020 U.S. national competition, the men's and women's, and just the excitement and new ideas and just the different kind of energy that the American curling scene had was really inspiring. I've really, really enjoyed meeting American curlers, people in the curling community there. Really exciting stuff. A sport just enjoying a new explosion, and you can feel it's so much different than Canada, where there's a lot of lore and old ways tied into it. But with the States, it just seems like everyone's thinking of the game in a new way. It's been very exciting every time I've went down.
Yeah, there's if you had a chance, especially like check, I think there's some great traditional clubs that we have up north in Minnesota, Wisconsin, the traditional curling areas. But you get south, and there's kind of exactly what you said. There's this new batch of curlers, which I kind of consider myself a part of. That's just kind of looking at games from a different way and really really enjoying the fun, the social aspect of curling. We broomstack pretty hard, and if you can't win the A event, you got to win the warm room. So that's the way we like to do it.
I shouldn't take anything away from the history, like you said, Wisconsin and Minnesota, even Michigan, a lot of states.
Oh yeah.
Proud curling history, as long as Canada.
Well, a little tough spot here for Reid. Just have to draw here.
Look going here.
Yeah, tough to make the double and stick. So probably just gonna draw to take one. You think?
Yeah, draw or if they think they can hit and flop a bit to get it, doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it's a pretty.
That front rock is in that magic kind of rock length where it's defending both. Can't hit and stick for your one, and it's in the way of the draw.
Yeah.
Kind of a scarier first end shot than you'd like to throw.
No, but Reid's a veteran here. Should be pretty routine for him. Although, who knows? I may have just cursed him. We've had some curses on the stream earlier with Sean during the broadcast.
Looking at this one on the wing here, if Reid was really wanting to hit, that might be your more open rock face to hit and stick to.
Yep. Just hit a little roll inside. So just a matter of preference, eh? Yeah.
Absolutely, it's that first end thing. Because it's not just about the thrower. People always talk about, you know, whatever the skip wants to throw, and of course, that's good advice. The sweepers haven't seen a lot of draws to the button yet, outside of practice.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah.
The whole team's a little cold right now. So that's the risk of mixing it up in the first end. You tolerate center guards. You tolerate, you know, the opponent kind of creating that mess in the middle. Rocks are now in play, and now you're looking at a shot a little tougher than you thought you'd be creating in the first end here.
I'm for it. No blanks.
Throwing a really nice, easy control weight here. Just wasn't able to carve it enough. It is going to be a steal of one for Sluchinski. Carruthers maintains hammer to the second end. We'll see you in a minute.
And we're back for the second end. Steal of one in the first end. Reid looking to get it back here. Another thing that I will say that I like about these streams is we get to see the lead rocks, which is nice. You know, I know that's been kind of a hot topic in terms of curling coverage, you know, and even though it's routine, you know, you still like to see it.
So I will say, and this is from my experience working with Rogers Sportsnet and watching this coverage my whole life. They have started showing the lead rocks at, for example, the Briar and Scotties.
Yeah.
You get a couple commercials, and then they'll split screen with the lead rocks. But I'll have everyone who's watching and listening here just take notice of this themselves. You still watch the commercials.
That's true.
I've been in rooms with the biggest curling fans, and we're talking about the commercials. Want to know why? Because it has the audio track still. Your mind will want to watch what is making noise, the mouths that are moving, and the audio that's associated with that. So, just all you fans out there, catch yourself next time you're on that TSN split screen view. That's why the advertisers allow it, because you're still watching them. And I find that endlessly hilarious, because curling fans have been begging for lead rocks forever, and now they got them, and they don't even watch them. We don't have player mics out there for this tournament. We have sheet mics. So these are embedded in between sheets 2 and 3 and 6 and 7. So us on sheet 5 here, we're pretty far away from both sets. So if you hear the yelling and screaming of another sheet, that is normal. I still like hearing that ambient audio of the curling club, though. Kind of makes you feel like you're in the room there, and it's almost like a calming drone to hear the sweep calls of other sheets as you're either watching or playing.
Yeah, you know, I've been a spiel myself the past 2 weekends, so like having this feels pretty normal, you know. Looks like we have a few more people checking in from the chat. Deborah from London, Ontario, Carolyn from Calgary, and Jay watching from Brisbane. That's pretty neat.
There we go.
More rocks in play this set. Couple centers and a little stagger and nicely tucked around. With Reid already having one in the house here, I guess looking to freeze here on the one in the just biting the top 4. And use that for later. Oh, no, maybe change it up to what's he doing here? Is this drawn to the other side or nope? It's a run.
The Samigalski special is coming down the ice. Man, have I seen a lot of this shot from him.
Yeah.
Bam, bam. Almost gets 3. But from the very early days of the McEwen team and these guys appearing on the Grand Slam circuit, that's been the strategy. Mix it up with the lead rocks, the first 3 rocks, and if all goes badly, Derek's there to clean it up.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to be able to have that in your back pocket there. I think a lot's been said, the importance of a quality third, but don't overlook these seconds that can, if things look a little squirrely at the beginnings, can really change an end for you.
Yeah, with 4 rocks in a row coming from the pair of Samigalski and Gunlinson, opponents of Reid Carruthers this year will learn pretty quickly that an end can change in an instant with those two coming, like filling up the middle of that lineup.
Another guard. We see another rip here.
Reid is making aggressive slashing motions with his broom, so I would guess yes.
Probably yes.
Reid's very broom expressive in the house. I appreciate it, especially with no skip mics.
Yeah, makes it a little bit easier instead of me just wildly guessing my American arena-based strategy.
He'll get the one on the 4-foot moving this time. But you gotta think, this is still advantage Sluchinski here.
Yeah, it was a little bad luck they got their one in the back, and a little bad luck that they, kind of didn't quite stick it, but didn't get them both out.
Well, if I'm skipping here, I'm thinking there's no clear double peel for those ones in the middle. It's going to take me 2 shots to clear the middle. So at what point am I going to agree to dance with this type of setup here? It being the second end, an even end. You'll want to score in this end. One of those guards is yours. You still have promotions available.
Now, Roy, for myself and some of the fans at home, what's next for Curling Zone as far as event coverage?
Well, we're up to 6 rinks with the cameras installed at this point. So just as more venues get this technology, their events become our events. And as it's known that this technology is at those events, the teams are more eager to sign up. It's a kind of trickling downhill type effect.
So if a club was
as
interested,
far as the exact schedule,
okay,
I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to check with Jerry on that one.
Gotcha. So for clubs that may be interested in getting this, they just reach out to Jerry or the folks at Curling Zone.
Yeah, join the busiest inbox in curling by emailing jerry@curlingzone.com. But he'll get back to you. I mean, this is something that we're working with the clubs to align goals here. Like, this isn't just a product. Any club that sees the value and sees the future, and this being the future of the exposure of the teams that make up the sport that we love here.
Yeah.
It's a process that needs to be pretty intimate and worked through with the individual clubs, the organizers of each individual tournament. It's not a competition. It's a big family.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of benefits and a lot of potential stakeholders. You know, you got the venue, you've got the sponsors that are associated with the teams, you got the teams themselves, you know, for getting more eyes on our sport. Yeah, I think it's so I think it's great.
That's the businesses and organizations that support curling that have kept this going and are the backbone of these tours and our sport in general. So the more ways that we can make curling appealing to them, bring it on.
This one should settle in pretty nicely. Maybe a shade open, but usable.
Well, there's a couple ways to think about this.
Yeah.
As the team with hammer, as Carruthers looks at the house here. On one hand, you've got quite a few yellow rocks in the rings, but on the other hand, there is no extreme danger situation set up right now. There's no kind of nest for Sluchinski to guard. They are still somewhat reacting to the openings. You could look at this as a bit of a playground. You've got a medium-high corner guard there. If you're able to make a play on this yellow in the forefoot, you can settle in somewhere where you have backing, where they're chasing you, and where the forefoot is still open. So no time. It's not really time to panic for the Carruthers team here. It's actually a bit of an opportunity to see what they can make out of these rocks in the rings.
Yeah, looking time get down there with just back line, and hopefully they get to the just shade inside of it. Well, they won't be upset if they get to those.
This is moving hard.
Ooh.
Yeah, little tick.
Want to tick off the other one?
Oh, looky here. Right to the pin. Not necessarily a great thing.
No.
But it will force Sluchinski's hand. They will have to chase this.
We'll have to chase this and kind of be careful about where they put it and not leave a double back. A question in the chat about who's commentating. My name is Mark Noe. Commentating here remotely from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, down in the States.
I'm Rory McCusker. Part-time employee with Curling Zone, and your producer, director, cameraman, stream operator here out of Regina, Saskatchewan. At the controls of the feature sheet all day here. We're no pro curlers ourselves, but we love the game. We watch a lot of curling, and we're here watching with you. You won't find much expert analysis here, just keen, fun observation.
Yep. Just a little background noise, honestly.
Thanks for tuning in, Julie. Our numbers keep growing. As is the case with most of these games, the longer they go on, the more people want to tune in, see how it ends. But getting in this one at the beginning, these might be the more entertaining ends of the game or even the day. I've seen a lot of kind of open ends today, not this game. Now, something I would love to hear from our viewing audience is, as the controller of these cameras, there's a bunch of different ways I can set these scenes up. We could have 4 views at a time if we wanted to, but it's all about balancing clarity with information. So my question for our audience right now is, do we like this split screen view where we can see the house and the thrower at the same time? Or do we prefer this straight on view where we get a little more wider detail, but we lack that extra information, which is the thrower or the expanded overhead view?
Nice shot by Reid there to get 2 of them out. I think it was going to be tough to roll to a really good spot for them, but I think at this point, just hoping to get us 1 back.
Yeah, not many options there. Have to clear the forefoot, have to deal with the immediate danger, and take that shot while it's available to you. Michael likes the split screen. Thank you, Michael. Just a little more challenging to queue up and get right. Oh, as you can see, mistakes happen.
Going hard for line here, but no problem. And rolls a little bit too far. Well, further than they'd like, but still pretty good result there.
Yeah, in the sense that perfect might have been just right at the top of the forefoot there, maybe 1 or 2 rock lengths shorter of a roll. But still, it takes the backing away if Reid wanted to kind of try that out turn draw. But now that I'm looking at the stagger, especially from this camera angle, looks really tight.
Yeah.
Crotch double might be the simpler option.
Yeah.
Another thing about putting this much pressure on an opposing skip early on is the longer Reid has to throw these hits to save the end, the longer he goes without throwing a draw. And it's a pretty good situation when you've kept the opposing skip out of the house with his draw weight for 3, 4, 5 ends.
Yeah. And you know, for those that missed the first, then Reid was just missed the hitting flop inside to give up the stealing 1. So chance to get it back here.
Yeah, the important detail there. He chose to hit instead of draw the forefoot. And now, without a choice, must hit again. Nice control weight again.
Yep.
Exactly as they drew it up.
Makes the double. For once.
That'll be a single for Reid Carruthers. All right, third end here. Carruthers and Sluchinski. Carruthers, a team with a lot of hype, kind of a new squad, lots of experience, lots of former champions. Sluchinski, who's been around for a while, I must admit that I haven't followed them that closely. But a win earlier this year in Leduc. So for Team Sluchinski, consider my head turned. Putting together some really solid ends from what I've seen, both 2 weekends ago and this weekend.
Yeah, and I think that just kind of speaks to the depth of curling that we don't always get to see, but having streams like this gets to showcase these teams that wouldn't normally get a lot of coverage.
Absolutely.
Is that just a flat out miss there? Surely that wasn't a tick attempt.
It would have been in character for them to come around that guard. Could have just been a little out and heavy.
Yeah.
Not an ideal combination. Carruthers has taken no chances with this. Thank you for the feedback, by the way, on the YouTube stream. Some votes for the split screen. Love to hear that. I lean the same way, but boy, this is all a learning experience. None of us are really used to what we're seeing, what's going on here, so it's gonna have some growing pains. But the faster we can learn what is the preference of everyone, the faster we can kind of put together a broadcast that we're gonna be really proud of and is gonna rival what we see on TV. As we did miss this slide, I am making some video adjustments on the fly here, as is so often the case.
And just a little thin here. Just run back into that top one, but opens it up a little bit more.
There we go. It's about as good of a split screen as we're getting for this end. We did have a little bit of a problem with the camera on sheet 5 here. So that's Jerry Gertz there in the chat. His baby, this technology. I remember right when I met him, like 6 or 7 years ago, maybe even more. We were talking about setting up cameras at the spiels that no one usually sees. So it's really been truly, it's a dream come true watching this all come together for him and us, I should say. Thanks so much for folding me into this project.
Just a bit tight there, but a little bit of a break.
Yeah, the bunting of the guard. Not that it was intentional this time. A little surprised to see them chase that one way out on the wing there. If we were playing club curling right now, it'd be a no-brainer. You're hitting that red one, you're lying 3, and you're gleefully waiting for the end to be over. But every little shot has consequences at this level. You roll it to the wrong spot, you get unspecific about a plan, or just thinking, just making it go away is going to be enough. Not the case at this level.
So just looking to hit on the high side a little bit. No, it should be fine, yeah.
There's going to be a double no matter what.
Yeah.
So just trying to leave something where the opponent won't have their rock in a problematic position. Things are looking really good if you're Sluchinski right now.
Pretty big roll by Gunner there, but maybe not as far as they'd like. So we'll likely see hit and roll back out towards the wings here.
Yeah, I mean, it does leave this hit and roll back away from the grouping.
Yeah. But then do you leave a triple?
Yeah, that's what you're trying to avoid. The Kevin Martin rule of thumb is 90-degree angles, so try not to leave all 3 of these on a kind of 90-degree angle. Right angles, I should say. May have gotten a little too aggressive with that roll.
Yeah.
And they did. Gunner's not happy. Now a chance to wipe the slate clean here for Sluchinski. Asking third, Jeremy Hardy. Clean these guys up.
Oh no, when this
Not so important.
Is this Gunner?
Oh,
it's Gunner up here, yeah.
I've made a mistake as to who is throwing.
Yeah.
I'm a little caught up in learning the lineup for Rink Sluchinski. And my head buried in the textbook.
Throwing some big weight here. Ooh, bit of bad luck and stuffs it.
I sometimes wonder if sweepers should even bother following Jason's rocks.
Yeah, it's moral support.
Here's Mr. Jeremy Hardy. Finally able to use that satellite guard. Sweepers Kerr, Drummond, here, perhaps, and Dylan Webster. Get it there. Good spot.
So we see much of an attempt to get a roll here, or just kind of resigned to giving up a deuce?
Not sure. There may be an advantage place to roll this. I don't know it.
Yeah, it's a little tough behind T here.
I think as long as you prevent them from using that corner guard again, making them address your stone, leaving theirs out in the open for another hit if that's what you choose to do. I think that's what's important. A lot of places you can leave this without leaving a double. Jeez.
Oh.
Speaking of bad combinations, down and inside. Will do that to you many a time.
Chat, that may have been my fault because I just kind of assumed the deuce is back on, but now let's see here. I guess Reid's looking to possibly corner freeze there, or really, I guess you just only have to corner freeze.
Yeah, why not
Just
at this
even.
point?
Yeah. Second is skip stones for
getting an exact freeze here. Not super important. As long as there's no double, it's going to force Aaron to make a shot for one.
Yep. Sweepers working it. Just want to squeeze a little bit more, so there's not a double, and it looks like there's
That was a little surprising. They were they're calm carrying that one the whole way down.
Yeah, it was just until after the hog line that they started really working on it. So
Mhm. Just sizing it up here,
yep.
trying to see if there's no jam. I don't think there is, but
No, I think there's enough separation. So just what are we looking at here, Rory? Thin half?
yeah, I'd say half or more.
Oh, more? Yeah.
Pretty natural, in the range of natural double.
Yeah.
Was the wrong overhead.
Well,
Looking pretty close.
pretty close.
1 and 2. They push it far enough.
There you go. So after flashing the earlier hit, makes a nice double there to get us 2. So after 3 ends, we've got Sluchinski up 3-1. We'll be back after this break.
Welcome back, Saturday evening curling audience. I'm Rory McCusker here with Mark Neo. We've had quite a few ends of action here. All 3 ends. Lots of rocks in play, lots of potential for both teams. Well, that third end was all Sluchinski, but an entertaining game nonetheless.
Yeah, very, very. Sluchinski definitely had the advantage in that end, but did have the flash on his first, but definitely made up for it with that nice double there. So after exchanging singles in the first 2 ends, Sluchinski with the first deuce of the game. See if Reid can get it right back here.
Throw in lead, Dylan Webster here. Looks like he's a rock follower downer, which is a somewhat rare quality for a lead. Leads I find are more of a squat and watcher.
Oh yeah, I never thought about that. But as I think through the various leads I've played with, yeah, I think that tracks. With that rock coming in, maybe just a shade deep. Looks like Reid's gonna go ahead and elect to come around top 8 instead of going under his corner. Or going under the center, sorry.
Yeah, especially on those first lead rocks. It's a bit of a shuffleboard type thing where the closer the 4 foot you get, the better it is. But as soon as you're past that point, it's a 0.
Yeah.
That was the toughest part of doing stats of shooter percentages. Is when
Oh,
you see a
yeah.
shot like that goes to the back of the button. So if you're rating a shot out of 5, how would you rate that first Sluchinski draw? The one that went a little deep, out of 5 possible points.
Oh gosh.
It's a tough question. I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
No, that's fair. I mean, I think when if we're having to be critical of it, I mean, I don't know what the criteria is, but I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say it. Is that a 2 or a 3?
It's a good guess, and you're right. You don't know the criteria, and there's a few systems in place, but our general rule was yes, it had to be at least a 2, because as much as you feel like you may have missed, or as much as you feel like you may have given some backing to the opponent still has to make their next shot.
Yeah.
If they leave that alone, you're happy guarding that rock. It is a steel stone. It is a 4 stone. So that was the interesting part of working the stats bench with some of these major tournaments. You would get the old guys from the club volunteering to do stats with you, and they'd see that shot and they go, "That's a 0."
Oh.
And I'd ask them why, and they'd be like, "Oh, I'd fire my lead if he put every rock back there." And while they're
No.
right,
Yeah.
it is opening the door for the opponent. The opponent does have to make their next stone.
It's true. Yeah. I think for me, does it hurt my position right away? Then if it doesn't hurt me right away, then I have a tough time putting a 0 for that. But it's a very interesting question. Chat, anyone wants to chime in what they think? I'd be kind of curious to see if we have some 2s or 3s or even some 0s out there.
Yeah. It is very, with anything in curling, it's very situational, right? Depends what's going on. Are you hungry for points? Are you trying to defend against the big end? What are your goals? For Sluchinski being up 2 points, I think that is a little bit worse of results going behind the tee line. Whereas if you were down points, you're inviting the type of random and messy scenarios that rocks behind the tee line will create.
Sure. I think on the other hand, you could also consider, right? If he doesn't go back tee, then does Reid go behind his corner and then really kind of set up the more traditional deuce? Is that better? A lot of things to consider here. But as it stands, it's still very much in play here, and play is very much being brought to the center.
Indeed, not the first end that Reid Carruthers' team has tolerated play down the middle. Big sweep on this one, and just a little kiss on the top guard. Worst of both worlds. You don't remove the guard, and you don't make contact with the forfeit situation you're going for. One stings.
Now looking to set another guard here. Now, does it, for if at my level where I'm calling this, right? It's either guard above it or somewhere wrap it around that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess with the preference here just to keep it long.
Well, I guess there's the concept that you're getting at there is separation and overlap.
Yeah.
So you're trying to achieve both those things. So where is the spot in the free guard zone where you're going to achieve both overlap and separation? Looks like your instinct was right. They were going for a high guard. They got overlap and they got a fair bit of separation. So the favorite curler commentary word of the last year or two, mission accomplished.
Nice.
It's the Mike Harris special. Mission accomplished.
I thought initially Reid was looking to go ahead and come around here, but maybe a quiet run here from Gunner.
Yeah, it'll be 2 bombs regardless. Expect things to change. A bit of lag here, sorry folks. And he'll only take 1.
Gets the middle one.
Not a happy camper. Let's see if we can catch him. I just missed him. Jason expects better out of himself than that. I'm talking with Reid about what went wrong there. Aaron, super cozy. If he could end the end right now and just give him 1, he would. You can sit back, putting that broom down, knowing that the other team has to show all the initiative, has to make all the magic happen. We don't know exactly where they wanted this one. It seems to be coming a little deep.
Yeah. I think it maybe just a caught in between, maybe trying to get to the inside and just maybe tap it up a little bit and roll inside. But now you gotta wonder if they've wired this up.
Exactly. Those concepts of overlap and separation, there's very little overlap. Like you mentioned, they've loaded this up and very little separation. So there is not a lot of... you can hit this top one in a quite large area and the same result is going to happen. They don't have to be quite as specific.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Reid has an exact plan of which way he wants each rock to go, but as long as all these rocks move, that is a big old mission accomplished.
Big shot here for Gunner.
Yeah. Get right behind it, fired it right down the barrel of the gun like he likes to do. Crack, 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 crack.
That'll do.
Three yellow rocks gone in one shot.
Yeah, can't ask for much better than that. Doesn't appear to leave a. I suppose there is a double, but you know you kind of spell out here. So
I think the decision here is, yeah, whether do you play that double like you mentioned, or just come to where everyone's coming anyway, which is right behind that center guard. See, if you make the double and Reid peels off your center guard, look at how much things have turned around there. Now Team Carruthers is looking at a corner guard scenario with some backing. So I think Aaron's got to make do with this. Not that the double would be the wrong call, but making a play on this one on the button, soft weight and leaving yourself buried behind cover. Shot rock. I think that's what they're going to have to do.
now where's the ideal leave here? Are we thinking just leave it still buried in the center, or maybe a little bit over more You know, maybe in the hole show a little bit, but just to get some separation from that red in the top 8.
It's a good question. It's a matter of preference. I'd be totally happy just forcing play to the 4-foot. Maybe tempting Reid to ignore the center guard. As long as you're shot rock anywhere in that area, I'd say that's enough. You wouldn't even be that upset with him following you down,
Yeah.
making a
Yeah.
freeze on his next one. At least you force play into a very small area. You get your force, which had to have been the goal at the start of this end. Can apply to try to play a little wick here.
Oh.
They do it, but is that great of a result? Team with hammer sitting 2-3 with rock in hand.
Yeah, a little bit surprising there, considering they were kind of sweeping it to hold the line at the last second. You think they would have tried to push it down, but maybe they changed the call mid-throw.
It looked significantly outside. Like, I'm not at ice level. I can't see exactly how he threw it, but with the broom being 2/3 of the way into the 4-foot, and the rock they wrecked on being around where the broom was, you got to think he tossed that one out a little bit. Not even looking at the center guard.
No, yeah, that's that one guard's without the 2 and the 3 behind it. It's definitely able to get around it.
What it tells us is this is the situation. It's Reid's going to try to find his multiple points through this situation here. It's too late to change things around. The 2 or 3 is going to be scored with the center guard in play.
I have a center guard with plenty of room here, but
Line 1, line 2. And no way in there for Aaron Sluchinski.
no, you're never getting rid of that top one. You can, gosh, I pointed the broom off the one at the kind of 3 o'clock position, playing off of that one.
I'd be tempted to play a little tap, leaving Carruthers shot 1, but your own rock kind of guarding the 4-foot, forcing an awkward double or some type of draw to the side of the 4-foot for 2 points.
And it
The
looks
risk
like
to that is, of course, if you don't make the tap, right, you leave some type of double yourself, you could leave a pretty easy shot for 3 or even 4.
Yeah. But looks like they're electing to play this in off here.
Aaron comfortable with the big weight. Right out of his hand. Hauled and made.
Yep.
Now, look at that angle.
Oh, you think, it was pretty good shot made, but with this leave here, I mean,
That is quite an unlucky place to leave those 3 rocks. That
well,
view doesn't quite give us See if I can make some adjustments here, work some magic. Now, before we get too excited about the potential raised double here for 3, this center guard is still in the way.
Yep.
Still going to affect how much weight they can throw at this. And can you see enough to make contact with the necessary weight to push both yellows out while keeping your shooter in play?
Yeah, from the camera angle, it's tough to see if there's space on the outturn side, but I don't think they really looked at it, so it must not be there at all.
Must not be. This looks like ice for about hackerboard. Very delicate shot. A big one here for Reid Carruthers.
Sweepers don't appear to be too worried about it. Now looking to get some curl out of it.
Just by the guard. It's curling huge. Oh, not enough action on the second yellow. So with a great attempt, it'll have to be 1 point for Reid Carruthers. Team Aaron Sluchinski carries hammer and a point into the 5th end. Welcome back, everyone. Little unofficial 4th end break here. No cracker and cheese plates this time, but both teams did take a couple minutes. Lead Connor Negevin. A great guy to watch a curling game with.
Oh yeah?
We got to try to get him on some commentary at some point this season. Very knowledgeable, interested, passionate guy when it comes to game curling.
Center guard going up and looks like just coming right behind it. Yeah, with the lead and hammer, just go ahead and come on in. Looking for Connor to throw tight center here.
Looks like ice to make a play on this one in the house. That was very confusing. I thought Reid's broom was on the corner of the 4-foot there.
Oh.
Okay. Not a lot of separation.
No.
Not sure if they really wanted overlap. Now, what's this ice for?
Yeah, assumption is just wrapping around everything. But
Well, it didn't seem like enough ice for that.
yeah.
But once again, this float's a little wider than I expect, so these skips have caught on to a bit of a straight spot here.
Yeah. And this has got some curling to do to get buried.
So the finish is there. It seems like it really floats its way down there.
Yeah.
That broom was no further than middle of the 8-foot. Yep. That's the ice for the come around.
This one seems to be a bit tighter to the guard, so should come in pretty nicely here. Derek getting onto the boys, giving some encouragement, and that's going to come in real nicely.
That's a beautiful come around. Yes, you're behind the tee line, but with such perfect line, such a great sweep, getting totally buried there, forcing play to that 4-foot area, that button area, that's going to be a big old mission accomplished.
Looking to open it up here a little bit. See if he can get both that are pretty close. And just gets the one.
Maybe Keir Drummond throwing the big weight. And he'll get one more crack at things. You got to think another guard clearing shot is coming down the sheet. Unless, of course, Reid Carruthers makes a play on this one in the top 8.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a reason for them to kind of clear their own, right? So they can get to the just inside nose here and
Oh, wrong overhead. Really took off on them there. Team Reid Carruthers getting caught with the soft weight here. That's not the first rock that's been on off the whole way down the sheet, and then all of a sudden, oh boy, it's over curling. We got to go hard.
yeah, I'm not sure if that's just you know, Reid not picking up or the sweepers not, you know, picking up on some of these spots and giving him the information. Really nice.
That is quite nice. That just shows that hit and roll is so hard to get perfect. Because even though that was almost exactly where they wanted to hit it, just that extra rock length that rolled, it's going to leave the face open for a little tap freeze.
So looking pretty similar to what they had earlier. Let's just see if they can judge the curl.
Those hit and rolls, those freezes, those are the ultimate team shots. It takes communication from all members of the team, really precision from the guy putting the broom down, the thrower, the communication from the sweepers, everything. And it being September, lots of teams just haven't had that time together, that chemistry building, to get those hit and rolls, those freezes, those team shots just perfect. Like we see kind of towards the end of the year. It's like anything, it takes practice. And these guys are quite familiar with each other, but this lineup, this team, it'll take a little while for everyone to sink into their roles. Gunner's sense of the moment here. Coming down to talk with Reid about the shot. Don't want to do that. There we go.
So it looks like fairly tight ice, maybe. Asking for a bit more weight.
Yeah, more than a tap freeze. This rock really floating out there. Oh, coming across now.
Ooh. Not enough. Didn't want to get rid of their back one there, but
No, it makes me wonder on the weight choice for that one.
you know, and that's kind of what I was wondering too, right? You know, they said they were a bit tight, and you know, maybe it looks tight, and so you throw it a little up, and you have that result.
They seem to be fairly satisfied with it, and they were sweeping straight at the end of that.
Yeah.
So a little confusing, but you know, they had a plan. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I'm trusting it wasn't that.
Well, we'll see if we can just get just the little inside flop here.
No fear here from Aaron Sluchinski. Put it right through the hole. Do we have a field goal? Bam.
Yeah.
Unlike my riders today. Right through the uprights.
So, well, it looks like they got a little bit of a flop. Still pretty accessible there. I think Reid's initial call is looking at a little board waiter there. Now we can, like, maybe just backline, just through weight. Now, is this wide?
It's got less weight. There's that finish, that late finish. Seems very weight sensitive.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful tap. Tap and roll. And that will be enough for Aaron Sluchinski to have to deal with this center guard. Stakes are high, though. One miss from Carruthers, and this is looking like a pretty big end for Aaron Sluchinski. Team Aaron Sluchinski. Looking like a standard peel here. Some noisy games beside us here. Just drowning in the screams of sweep calls and rocks banging around. Hey, these are qualifiers. Nobody wants to wake up tomorrow and get right back on the ice in the morning. Very valuable morning sleep and rest time and evening beer drinking time on the line here for the teams that qualify.
Yep, and looks like we've got some pretty close games going on some of the other sheets. Looks like we've got Schwaller up 5-2 over Tanner Horgan. Ryan, is it Weeby?
Yes.
Up 3-2 over Jacques Gauthier. McEwen and Fenson, that was done early. McEwen winning that 8-1. Dropkin, the early deuce in their game, but a couple blanks and they're up 2-0 there over Bruner. Sturmey up 3-2 over Attell. And we've got. But going back to this, pause the updates to go back to Reid throwing his shot here.
Yeah, trying to get another rock in that pile. Try to somehow nullify the rocks that Sluchinski has in the back of the rings. Playing with fire here, Team Reid Carruthers, putting it all on the line for the force or steal.
Skip and roll and just over the top.
That is unfortunate. That was nearly perfect. Just a lightweight hit and roll that just barely didn't get the angle they needed. And unfortunately, second and third shot rock still belonging to Sluchinski. Unfortunately, of course, for Reid Carruthers. There's no favorites here.
Yeah. Yeah, as you mentioned it earlier, it's really tough to make those, hit and rolls to a perfect spot. Reid is really close there and just rolled over the top and rolled just too far to sit fourth, unfortunately.
Just taking a look at those updates you were given here, Mark. A lot of young blood on the ice tonight. Like some young skips, some impressive young skips taking the ice on this draw. Yannick Schwaller becoming a notoriously great early season player.
Yeah.
Won 2 tournaments in a row in Oakville in 2020. Early season like this in September. Just some teams seem to get it going faster than others.
Yeah, you gotta just the Swiss know what they're doing over there.
These two teams. We've got Gauthier and Ryan Wiebe, just seemingly fresh out of juniors, both of them. And they'll find the hole again, Team Aaron Sluchinski. Playing really confidently right now. Haven't been in too much trouble at all.
Yeah.
Really just finding their groove. Dictating play here in the fifth end. But yeah, continuing with that theme of this draw. Riley Fenson, very young skip. Corey Dropkin, experienced, but the young Bucks, Michael Brunner as well. Some championship experience, those three with Yannick Schwaller's team, but we've now had two young Swiss teams come out of what used to just be one. Karsten Sturmey, former U of A representative. Johnson Tao, who I'm not too familiar with, but I think that's a younger team as well. Rylan Kleider, former junior champions. Scott Dunham. You know, there's the skips under 30 years old on the ice right now is very impressive.
Yeah. You know, I know there's been a lot of talk of not getting some of the younger people into curling, but at the competitive level, they're still very much there.
Absolutely correct. Yeah, never been stronger, some would say. I mean, every one of those teams, or most of them, have already experienced some pretty significant success.
There's Reid looking just at this double here to try to limit the count.
1 and 2, he'll get them.
Yeah, nice shot.
Yep. That was a miss one shot and we're screwed kind of strategy from Reid Carruthers. Once that center guard dance didn't go their way, they knew what they needed to do in order to prevent a big end, and they were able to do enough to get it done. All credit to Sluchinski, though. It may seem like I'm talking about Team Reid Carruthers a little bit more. Well, that's because Team Sluchinski hasn't been giving me much to talk about. They've been very consistent, controlling their weight, controlling their roles, communicating, sweeping. Really just the pro side of every half shot. Been dictating this game for a few ends now, since the third end, really.
Yeah, I've been impressed with this team. This has been, you know, my first exposure to this team, you know, through this, you know, streaming platform, and you know, they're going against some veteran curlers here, so to not only be, you know, competitive, but to be in control of the game, frankly, is pretty impressive.
It was in this building just 2 weeks ago. Aaron made a shot for quite a bit of money and a title of that tournament. So any doubt that this was a team sneaking into any type of big games, you know, is quashed. This is a team that's been around and just keeps moving up and up. So that draw for 2 puts them 2 points ahead of Reid Carruthers. Reid will have the hammer in the all-important 6th end when we come back.
And we're back. Although Reid made a nice double there, still relatively easy draw made to T line. So taking a 3-point lead going into the sixth end here.
Yep, Team Sluchinski gaining the edge early in the end. The last 3 ends 3, 4, and 5, have been forcing Team Carruthers into some difficult shots, some all-or-nothing decisions. Carruthers doing a fine job to hang on, but this 6th end will need to be definitive to get them back in the game against a consistent, seemingly bulletproof Aaron Sluchinski squad.
We see Reid here opting for corners on opposite sides. Not quite even, but probably good enough here. Can't start ripping it just yet, so we can just go ahead and talk about either going guard in the center, or just do we go ahead and loop another one in here?
Yeah, we've seen a couple ways of dealing with corner guards recently. There's the bunting shot, where on your lead's second stone without hammer, you bump the opposing corner guard into the rings, so you can then hit it on your second one.
Yep.
There's also a just straight corner guard tick, where you try to pump it to the other side of the center line. Or, and this is my preference, do what you've been doing for decades and just focus on the middle. Get your 2 rocks in the top 4 foot. Throw a tight guard. Now we've seen a couple mishaps here. I wasn't around for the first rock. It somehow ended up in the side of the 4 foot.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I must have missed that one. So I don't know if that was just, meant to be top 4 and just kind of skated, but who knows.
Yeah, pretty significant line miss, if so. It's 2 feet off the center line. Now with that guard coming slightly in the rings, not that big of a deal. You've occupied the top of the house. The stage is now set for Team Carruthers to attempt to clear the middle and attempt to manipulate the rocks so they can use their corner guards that they threw. Sam Migalski will try the first bump and roll type shot. This looks like, oh no. Now, folks, that is rare. You're not going to see that very often.
Just as you're about to mention it, this is the 3rd slip I've seen today from sweepers. Yeah.
You know what? It's a good point there, Mark. Then that's the advantage of being around all day.
Yeah.
That is the 3rd that we've seen.
Yeah. So all the
me and Mark, a dynamic duo all day. Me producing, Mark commentating. But for tonight, I didn't want to let him have all the fun. Yeah, really unfortunate move there. That looked like a nice hit and roll.
Yeah.
So now, Aaron Sluchinski begins his work, grinding it out, clearing the guards, clearing the rings. All rocks are now enemies for Team Sluchinski, even their own.
Yeah. Now, because that occurred after the hog line, would have been, could they have just, removed that one rock? It's tough to know where the shooter would have ended up, of course, but.
Well, we would have to see the review. I'm not sure if Gunner made contact with the actual moving shot rock itself. I'm trying to figure out whether he just bumped the guard,
Yeah, I think.
and in the process, all rocks got removed,
Yeah.
or guard replaced and shooter removed.
Yeah.
I may have to scrub back in the old YouTube replay here.
While you're checking that out, Edward in the chat is asking if the tournament has the new center line rule in effect. And if the center rule is in effect, how has it affected its playing? And I don't believe that we're not having a no tick in this event.
We
right?
are not. I'm just reviewing. Okay, so the Jason Gunlinson burnt rock. He did trip on the guard and fall within like a cross-checking motion onto the shooter. So he did burn the shooter, unfortunately. And that's one I'm sure Aaron Sluchinski, if there was a opportunity to make the fair play and let the play stand, he would have done it. But with a rock like that, the only reasonable thing to do is to remove it.
Yeah.
No matter how good of a sport you want to be. That was one where you just didn't know what was going to happen. And it was a clear burn. You have to remove the stone there.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, wonderful to hear about that on Reddit and curling Reddit later. About people think, no, they shouldn't have pulled it. It was going to hit it.
Well, a Rachel Homan controversy on our hands.
Yeah.
Glad to hear you're part of the curling Reddit community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to build. There's so many curling fans worldwide, and you know, it's not the most popular sport like it is in Western Canada here. Well, even then, it's tempting to think you're on an island as, oh, I'm a little strange, I'm a curler. Not everyone watches this sport. Some people think it's boring. No, you know what? There are thousands, tens of thousands even, people out there who just love this sport. And so connecting with a community like Reddit or the forums on Curling Zone or even the chat here on the stream that we're providing right now, let's celebrate it, guys. Like, we all know how much we love this game, how special it is, and you know, I just love hearing that people are finding their way into communities and forums and such, and yeah, makes me happy.
Yeah. So even with the burn rock, Reid still has another corner on the other side he's trying to work with. Looking to sink one underneath here.
Absolutely. Sam Migalski really leaning into this one, trying to carve that stone over. And with a nice sweep, they'll get second shot. Behind a corner guard.
Gotta think the
Fairly
sweeper for that one.
risk-free double attempt available for Sluchinski here.
Yeah, hard to tell from this angle, but it looks like they're icing it where they can kind of just get to it with quiet weight. No need for the run here.
I'm wondering if this ice is using their own rock as a bit of an in-off stone.
Yeah, that's the other possibility, right? That rock's really not doing much for them out there.
Hey, this late in the end, every red that goes away is a victory. So however you can get it, using your own, using an opponent, doesn't really matter. And just a perfectly thrown executed, called and made. Aaron Sluchinski, who's got this really kind of just demeanor of nothing's really rattling him. He's kind of maintaining his composure, doesn't really get too hot and cold. Seems like a shot making machine.
Yeah, well, definitely been impressed with him. Impressed with this team, right? I mean, that shot is, good to see it and, play off your own and well managed, well swept. Still looking like the pretty much similar option here, looking to just go ahead and come underneath there. You're going to try to do it via hit and roll.
It's a little thing I noticed as well. Aaron does not take very long in the hack. Skates down, has a word with his sweepers, puts his foot in the hack, squats down, throws the rock. No nonsense. No big big breath in and out. No spinning the rock 5 times to the left, twice to the right.
Oh,
those little quirky things you see skips do.
Why don't you just call me out by name next time? I'm very guilty of the spinning the rock thing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I just noticed these differences.
Yeah. It's a little pre-shot routine, yeah.
Yeah.
Edward in the chat asking about the upcoming debut of the Pan Continental Curling Championship. What are your thoughts on that, Rory?
Oh, I do not have much of them.
I'm excited to see, more international events, right? I think the growth of curling in Pacific Asia is just going to be really, really big for the sport in terms of, bringing new eyes and, a new market, to curling. One of the things that I have been a huge fan of is, I'm not going to recall the artist's name, but there's an artist that posts really, really good curling related pictures on Twitter. I'll have to see if I can find that and point that out, but it's really neat. Sometimes they're, animals or quokkas, doing curling, doing, famous deliveries. So it's always kind of neat to see. I think, and Chad or Edward, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Pan Continental came as a result of the change in the Continental Cup, right? Where they kind of changed the format of it. So I'm kind of sad to see, that go away. I've enjoyed that event, seeing the kind of fun, relaxed Vegas atmosphere, but at the same time, I am excited for the new Pan Continental.
For sure. And I mean, the Continental Cup, that was a for fans kind of entertainment product. Super fun, super entertaining. But those teams that might be participating, well, it looks like we've come up short here. Sluchinski will steal one. Team Carruthers takes a peek back at the scoreboard. All just buying time to see what their skip wants to do.
Yeah, it's talking it over.
With a 1 for Sluchinski, traditionally you'd keep playing here, but they are going to show the respect. They understand. Sluchinski's red hot right now. They're not giving up a 4-point lead.
No.
So that was a very fun game, even though it ends in 6 ends. Some excellent end battles, some back and forth, and Team Aaron Sluchinski finding their groove here, taking it 6-2. I hope everyone enjoyed the broadcast tonight. To my partner Mark, thank you very much for hopping on once again. 4th draw of the day.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, it's been a blast, but hey, your curling watching evening is not done. Look at this Curling Stadium YouTube channel, Curling Zone YouTube channel. You will see all sorts of games available for your free viewing. So enjoy the night. We'll talk to you later.